Digital helps you make cross-border payments. Human gives you global specialists. Digital allows you to apply for a loan anytime, anywhere. Human connects you to credit experts. Digital puts you in control of your money, while Human connects you to wealth advisors. Digital allows you to freeze, unfreeze, cancel, and reorder your card. Human gives you that personal touch. Digital when you want it. Human when you need it. Get the complete private banking experience with Nedbank Private Clients.
Welcome back. You're still watching Nedbank Business Watch. Thank you for tuning in. I'm now joined by Toba Kamete from Nedbank to give us today's financial markets. A very good afternoon, Toba. Thank you for coming through. Trading's a bit quiet today. Why is that so?
Thank you, Luli, and good afternoon to the viewers. So yes, trading is a bit quiet today. The market is quite cautious and not volatile. I think it's because of the lack of data, I would say, in most regions today in particular. There's quite a bit of data coming out on Friday, tomorrow and Friday. So then the market is just waiting to see what the data is going to look like for clues on interest rate cuts and all of those things.
Yeah. So what's happening in South Africa? I've seen reports today that investors, are waiting to see money supply data. What's happening there?
Yes. So on Friday, the Statistics South Africa will release money supply, budget and trade balance data. And then tomorrow, it's producer price inflation data. So the market is waiting to see what those numbers look like to gauge the health of the South African economy, if the economy is growing or if it's shrinking.
So what's happening in the US, and also there's expectations that Friday the personal consumer expenditure data is supposed to be released. Let's just go through the currencies today.
All right. So from a U.S. perspective, so it's a similar story. Trading is quite muted today as well. We, as you've rightfully said, have the PCE personal consumer expenditure number coming out on Friday. So that is the Fed's preferred inflation gauge. So the market is waiting to see what that number would look like for clues of what inflation is doing in the US, because that will then tell or inform what the Fed is likely to do in their monetary policy meeting next month.
That's right. So what's happening? Let's take a look at the foreign exchange today. How is the Lilangeni trading today, Namul?
All right. So today the Lilangeni is the dollar is trading at 17.7650 against the dollar, up 0.28%. Against the euro, it's down at 19.7625, and against the Great British Pound, it's at 23 Malangeni, and 48 cents, up 11%. As you can see, the changes on the percentages or the variations are quite limited, testament to the limited volatility that we are seeing today.
Okay, so moving on to commodities, I saw reports that today, oil is going up, but still trading steady. What's happening there on commodities?
All right. Yes. So oil is trading at $79.57 per barrel, up 0.03%. But it has significantly increased when you look at the past few days. A couple of factors have contributed to that. The first being reports of a decline in stockpiles of fuel and oil inventories in the U.S. The second being disruptions, or rather halting of production from Libya. There is quite a bit of tension between government factions against or for the control of oil reserves and the central bank in Libya. So that has sort of disrupted the supply from that country. And Libya is one of the countries, or the biggest producers of oil. excuse me, and the third being the continuing conflict in the Middle East with no concrete breakthrough in the ceasefire in the Gaza region. From gold is down, but still above the 2.5 US dollars per ounce mark, trading at 2,509.33 per ounce, but down 0.61%. And I think it goes back to the trading activity that we're seeing in the market. I can sort of call it a cash market. People are holding on to their money to see what the different what the different data is going to look like, so that they can then make decisions of where to put their money.
Okay, so when you look at equities, you know, the S&P 500 is doing quite well today. What are some of the factors that led to this?
Yes, so the S&P 500 is doing quite well, at trading at 5,625.8, up 0.16%. The leader there being NVIDIA, the largest chip or AI chip manufacturing company by market capitalization in the US. So they are releasing their half-year performance numbers today, and the market is expecting that to double, which will likely push will actually push the share price up, and the market is anticipating an increase of 10% in the share price of NVIDIA tomorrow as a result of the anticipated bumper earnings that they are anticipating to see today. So that will be coming out later this afternoon. And the FTSE is also up 0.51%, trading at 7,550.51 pounds again today. Leading sectors there are pharmaceutical as well as insurers in that region.
Yeah. So just before I let you go, Toba, you know, there are fears of recession happening at the US today. Yes. Is that still the case? What's happening?
So that is the case. The U.S. economy is slowing down. But I think before we can get to a recession, there is quite a number of monetary policy adjustments that the Fed would likely implement. We had the Jackson Hole symposium last week Friday, where the Fed chair, Jerome Powell, said mentioned that it's time for interest rate cuts, so or sort of gave a toned down or dovish sentiment to the market. So there is likely going to be interest rate cuts. The market is anticipating one or rather 100 basis point for the rest of the year, with the first one, 25 basis point coming in next month. So before we can get to probably a recession, there's quite a few levers that are going to be pulled. Yeah.
There's a lot going on in international markets. Just yesterday in Europe, some companies were cutting jobs due to the elevated level of inflation. What's really happening there?
Yeah, so there's so inflation is still quite high, especially in that region, and there's also a slowing down of the economy. So there's quite a lot of then struggling that's happening with companies cutting jobs and all of that, just trying to stay afloat and to manage. So there's quite a lot of activity in that regard.
Right. So thank you so much, Toba, for that analysis on today's financial markets. We'll go for an ad break. When you come back, we wrap up the show.